we kind of getting towards the conclusion of this podcast. Again, thank you so much for subscribing, for watching. Thank you to Noelia for being here and being pleasant and being awesome.
Thank you.
She's making me think, podcast. So, look, if you ever thought that you don't learn the lessons of life, I'm sorry, think again. You're always learning. We are always learning, even as we teach it. Yeah. So as we complete here, Noelia, really, I know that you have some insightful questions, some powerful questions that you would like to have answers to. And
because I came on your show to ask you questions, Abraham.
Okay, let's do it.
This is Abraham's podcast for you.
I forgot what my show, y'all.
First question, Abraham. Is this thing on? 1, 2, 1, 2.
1, 2, 3. I think we're on.
First question, Abraham. You run a studio. We know you run Crown Dance Studio for many, many years now. I think over 10 years. Mm-hmm. You've been a dancer probably longer than that. Mm-hmm. How long?
Since I was 10 years old.
Okay. 10 years old dancer.
Since I was 10 years old.
Business owner since how many years?
So I started dancing when I was 10, and my professional dance career has extended now to 16 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if you were
as a teacher,
and as a business owner, as Crown Dance Studios.
As a business owner now 11 years.
Okay. So if you were to choose to walk away with one or the other, the business aspect or the dancing, pure just like artist, which one would you choose?
The artist in me will always be alive. There's no question about it. The business aspect of me will also be alive, because the way I see it, and I said this to some people, I'm a businessman who happened to dance.
There's the answer.
So, if I had to choose, it would be difficult, because the business aspect has allowed me to manage people's expectation and the expectation of my own. And through the business aspect, I'm able to grow more and multiply even more. Just an artist, for me, if I have to choose just being an artist, then I would just dance for me. And that's the difference that I see between the business and the artistic part of it. If I wanted to be just an artist, I would not be a teacher. I would not be in the business of running the studio, because now I'm choosing to serve me and extend that to as many people as want to partake of it through entertainment. Then I will go through the route of entertaining more, doing more shows, even more competitions. That's what I would take. As a business owner, I focus on the overall picture of developing the human spirit from every level. From the beginner dancer that walks in not knowing how to begin, where to start, why they even walk in, to the advanced dancer that now has some knowledge and ability to do more and wanting to understand more. I believe that I'm complete because of the business aspect of my artistic journey.
Okay.
And
which leads me to my next question.
Okay.
So how would you define art? What is the meaning of art to you?
For me, is the human ability of freedom of expression. The ability to be oneself completely without reservation to what society may view of you. Because think of it as a dancer. As dancers, we dance for the joy of how it makes us feel. And we stay with it for the evolution of who it allows us to become. In those process, there are still people who don't understand dancing that question it. That may question our decision to dance. Me, for example, when I first decided to become a professional dancer, as a social dancer doing it for fun, my family didn't care, it wasn't a problem. The moment I chose to do it for a living was a problem, because my family didn't understand the value that lies within dance. They didn't understand that I could actually be as successful as I am in dancing, right? So I think the perception is that dancing isn't really a sport. I consider dancing as a sport. It is a sport. Dancing is an art. And I think one of the biggest arts of all forms of art. If you looked at boxing, if you looked at taekwondo, if you looked at Muay Thai, all these fighting, these are all art. And in all those artistic form of expression, and I'm talking about moving art now, right? You will find dance within all of them. And then if you look within life, you will find that dance itself is a life. And we're consistently dancing through the storm, trying to find our footing for the next journey, for the next step, for the next opportunity. So we're constantly looking for balance within that. Through dance, we are able to accomplish this. All of it. Imagine dancing to sound of the music. The music is 8 count. And between that, you have a second per beat, let's say, to perform all the actions that come with just one step. So within the moment of that, just to take a side step, I have to think of my connection to the music. I have to think of my connection to my partner. I have to think of my connection to the earth, which is the floor, and now connection with self, which is the ultimate first goal. And all of that, how I can activate the muscles within my body to engineer the move that I want to create to influence your movement, right? So when I think of all these things, dancing is truly the one place, the one form of art that I would choose to be a participant of over anything else.
So would you say you dance for yourself?
First and foremost, in the beginning, I danced for myself. Once I discovered the value of it, and it's kind of like love. When you understand the value of what love truly is, you don't want to have it for yourself. You want to share that with so many people, and as many as you can. So the reason why I say I couldn't do one over the other is because I opened a studio, particularly for that reason, so that I can influence more people than one. And if I didn't want that aspect of it, would I just stay an independent dancer and not open a studio and build maybe a very small community of people that I just want to associate with? But my desire for how I want dance to influence this world is bigger than myself. It's bigger than any one individual because of the power that I see within it. And I think we can really unite each other with dance if we all understood the power that is within that.
I like that. That's the inner light speaking.
That is the inner light.
The inner light.
That is an example of the inner light.
So in this inner light book, it says, a guide to letting go of fear and mastering the act of love. So what do you mean by letting go of fear? If fear itself is what drives us.
Yes. Fear drives us. And it is only through letting go of our fear that we can truly master who we are. Because think of it as a protector. That's what fear is.
Yes.
It serves no good purpose but to question the sanity of our decision making. Because in our minds, as a dancer, for example, when we think of becoming a dancer, first of all, who are we going to market this to? There are so much competition. And for someone who wants to become a professional dancer, the first question might be, can I make money doing this? Would I be able to pay my bills doing this? If the question is no, then dancing does not become a priority to you anymore. It becomes second, an afterthought. So you have your priority in your daytime job, and dancing becomes your fun gig. And for example, people that I've worked with and people still work with me, they prefer to teach dance as fun, as a hobby, but they don't want to take it seriously as their job. I personally have a problem with that. My problem with that is because you go to your job and you treat your job very seriously. You perform a job very well. It doesn't bring you any peace of mind, no joy whatsoever. You leave stressed, you leave depressed. And here you are come to teach dance for the joy that it does for your life. But you don't take it seriously as you take your job, because in the interim, it's not paying you as much as your job is paying you. So in those cases, what we've just done, we prioritize the currency over the value that we get, forgetting to know that money is just a currency note. It transfers from one person to another. That currency is our mind and our hearts connected together. So when I became a dancer, I had to let go of my fear of not having anything. I had to let go of my fear of not having my family to support me, because they did not support my journey to become a dancer. I had to ignore that what their fear was, it was the lack of understanding of what this did for me.
It was a lack of faith.
Faith in this, but also because faith, it's an absence of that which we don't know. They didn't know how much dancing truly meant to me. I did. They didn't see how I saw dancing. I did. So when I made a decision to become a dancer, it was not about the money, which is why I was okay getting paid. I was working full-time, minimum 40 hours a week, but I was spending about 60 to 80 hours in the studio. And I was only making $19,000 a year for 6 years.
Well, some people don't have the desire to spread a message and start a business. So that's why they don't find it worth it to teach classes.
Absolutely.
For dimes. Because it's like, well, if you're not spiritually connected to it and it doesn't make you money, then logistically it doesn't make sense.
Makes no sense.
Right.
Whatsoever.
So we don't make any sense as dancers. Dancers don't make sense. Artists don't make sense.
That's why it is a strange. That's why it is a strange activity.
Yeah, it is.
And yet the most fulfilling to the human spirit. So you gotta pick your battle. So letting go of our fear, especially for me for dance, I have to know that I will always have my family support if I succeeded. And once I succeeded, that was for me to succeed, because I knew what this meant for me. So I would give up anything at that time to be a dancer, which is what I did. Yeah. So the question then, do you have enough faith within yourself to trust the desires of your heart and understand that the decision that you're making is going to benefit not only you, but so many more? And when it's done, when it is fulfilled, that all the fear that you had become an afterthought. That proves to you the character that you are.
Does letting go of fear help you find your path in life?
100% is the only way, because otherwise I'm just going to be hesitant in the decision, right? For example, you mentioned earlier that you feel like something bigger is a reason for why you dance. I think deep down you kind of know what that reason is, and I think you're just trying to find the how to get there. Mm-hmm. And then when you find out the when, it would be when you let go of whatever it is that is causing you the hesitation now. For example, when I first was opening the studio, I didn't have really any credibility in the business world, right? So as a new business owner, no one was going to loan you money. Bank would not loan you money.
It's not really about the how, but about like the building blocks.
Exactly. So, yeah. Right. So the reason I was able to open the studio, I had planned that when I was going to be a dancer in that 6 years that I was going to open my studio. So everything I did within the 6 years was to prepare me to do just that. So I started to save towards that process, towards that journey. I started to put money aside, knowing that when I was ready to start this adventure, no one was going to come to my aid unless I had the physical, tangible product to showcase. And as fate would have it, I got fired from my last dance studio that I worked for after 1 year. Go figure, I was prepared.
Exactly, that's what it's about.
A day later, I registered my LLC. Yeah. And Crown Dance Studio was born January 14, 2013.
It's all about having the building blocks ready for when that door opens, which is what I meant by like, I think there's a bigger purpose for me, because I'm just getting ready.
Exactly.
I'm just building the blocks, I'm laying the foundation, I'm getting in front of crowds, teaching class now, but then later I can get in front of crowds teaching something else or preaching about something else, or whatever the case may be. But I just know that it's like a building block.
100%. Let me give you another perspective about how, for me, the podcast, the speaking, and the coaching all came about. Before I became a dancer, I knew that I wanted to be a coach. That was my ultimate goal. But I understood getting there was not going to be easy. In order for me to get there and be a successful and impactful speaker, I needed to know the psychology of human behavior.
There you go.
Through dancing is how I've been able to learn that.
Mm-hmm. The dance coaching.
Exactly. Because by associating, and I pay so much money, like any top ballroom dancers would talk to you. We didn't talk really about ballroom dancing today. because I can honestly see that's the one category form of dance where it's fully disciplined, where you know the expectation is to work to be your best so that you can be good for your partners in the social, in all competitive dancing, right? So in that arena, we kind of get the understanding. Does that still mean everyone does the same thing? No, but the culture is set in a way that people know. If you want to be a ballroom dancer, you're going to have to work hard. You're going to have to meet these criteria. So when you're kind of going through this process, I knew that by educating myself through the way of dancing, that's where, again, the artist in me versus the business aspect of it is they are both connected. Because before I was a dancer, I was in my mind going to be a business owner. That was hands down. And I can still remember to this day when my father asked me what did I want to be. My answer was just that. I wanted to be a boss of my own, to run my own company.
Same.
You know, and dancing has been a means to get me there. And I love it so much. That's why I say the process is taking long to get me to this level of writing and finishing my book and starting my coaching business, the starting point. But it has been a worthy journey that has always been in the forefront of my mind. And I think that's what you kind of also getting at, right? You're preparing yourself, you're building a block. And that's why I believe your desire to educate yourself, you know, as a bachata and salsero, you still take time to learn other dances. Like you want to learn Argentine tango, you want to do some ballroom dances, right? You're learning the different elements. And that's something I highly respect, and I would encourage you to continue to do that. Because as you learn those, you will start to see just how interrelated those cultures are. But also you will get to discover just how different perspectives are from the people who haven't participated in the other. So if you just done ballroom, you never done social, your perspective is different. And if you're only a social dancer, you never done ballroom, your perspective is completely different.
Yeah.
Right? I encourage people, if you're going to say, okay, I'm a salsa dancer and I do salsa and bachata and it's different from ballroom, pause for a moment and really understand what you just said. Because you're right, there is a difference. The question is, what is that difference? I relate it to a picture. You know, if you put a magnifying glass on to look at something through a magnifying glass, it's bigger. Without a magnifying glass, it looks much smaller. So that's what like ballroom dancing is to social dancing. We make a bigger picture, bigger expression, bigger emphasis, clarity of intention, clarity of movement. From the top to the bottom, how we dress to compete is all intentional based, because we understand it's an image business. And in this image business, the presence of mind and heart needs to be there. Therefore, when you come at that level, you need to come with good intention. So that picture is different than if you were just doing something again for fun. That's why I said dancing is more beyond, it goes beyond fun. So when I ask me, I just want to have fun, your intention is limited. So absolutely. I hope you continue to follow, to have the intention to be bigger than your current understanding, because if it is bigger than your current understanding, you will start to see your own development and your pictures become bigger as your world become bigger as you grow more wisdom.
Yep. And support comes pouring in too.
Exactly.
So I guess I have one last question.
Okay.
I just thought of it.
Now we're ready.
So if starting point and the inner light were kind of like your ultimate goals,
Yes.
do you find now, since you've already done those things, do you have more goals? Or what are your next goals? What are your next
projects? As long as I'm
projects?
alive, I'm always developing. So I have something else that I'm working on, which I don't yet wish to talk about on this particular podcast. But if you subscribe, and follow the channel, you would get to see just what that project is. And it's again, coaching and dancing is so interrelated. The difference is when I'm a dance coach, I understand that I cannot bring the psychology of coaching on a deeper level as I bring to coaching for dancing. Because as a dance coach, the psychology is light.
Yeah.
You know, it's not heavy to the point where you got to go through the deep thinking of the mind and the body and the spirit. And then the psychology of coaching is going deeper within yourselves, you know, to really go to the dark places. So if you put the two words together, the psychology of coaching is going through the dark and find the light from the dark place. The psychology of dance is standing within the light and feeling the result of what it's like to overcome something. That's the correlation that I make between being a dance coach versus being a business and a life coach.
Also, people, like, when they are seeking dance classes, they're seeking dance classes.
Exactly.
They don't want to hear about,
No.
like, your
really
dark
Yes.
inner zombies. Like, they want to hear, teach me how to dance.
They
okay?
do,
Like,
exactly.
I don't want to hear anything else.
No, they
You just
really
kind of
don't.
have to feel it out.
Yes.
Eventually, you can get a little deep, but yeah, like you said, it's not going to ever be as deep as
Correct.
when someone's like, hey, I need help now. I'm like a rock bottom or whatever the case may be. Or, yeah, it's intention.
And there's a reason that most people who see me as a dancer don't see me as a coach, because I don't advertise this to my dance client. However, those who pay attention get to see that I'm more than just a dancer. And they ask me the questions. And then when the question is asked, then I'm happy to talk about the topic. But it doesn't become the point of advertising through the dance community, because again, I know this is different. But now, as I do, if I'm doing special presentation like I had live last week, I just invite people, hey, I do this too, come and take part of it, right? So as we wrap this up here and going forward, I just want to really leave again a note of gratitude, which is an important principle to live by.
Very important.
So I'm extremely grateful for this moment, as I am with every passing and current and then future moments that will come. I'm extremely grateful to you, particularly Noelia, for joining me, for choosing and accepting to join me on this podcast today and sharing your wisdom towards this very strange phenomena of activity that is fulfilling to the human spirit, that I don't think you can truly understand the psyche of it, truthfully, until you partake of it. And to Verac Studio for doing the video recording, and to all of our fans, and I'm sure you have gratitude to the people that have supported you.
Absolutely.
And continue to support and love you. I love you from the bottom of my heart. Anything and everything that you do, it starts with you. Look within yourself. As I state always, look within the mirror and see who you see in the mirror. Is that a person you're proud of? And if not, then you have the power to change. I love you from the bottom of my heart. And I said, love fearlessly and live fully with every bit of intention. Take it easy. The world is your playground. Enjoy it. Thank you.
Thank you, Abraham.
Appreciate you.